Hey everybody, welcome to Hope Something Sticks. I'm Burt.
This one is Matt.
And today we'll be doing our last episode for the pre-election coverage. Because next time we do this, the election will be over and hopefully we'll have a winner.
Maybe.
Whoever that might be. So today we're going to kind of go over what's happening in the election now, how this kind of the similarities and differences to the 2016 election, and what we think may happen during different scenarios of, say, a convincing Biden victory, convincing Trump victory, or a close victory one way or the other. And then next week we'll talk about hopefully who won and what that means.
Roving hordes of wild dogs running through the street. Armed militias guarding the 7-Eleven, dictating your ration of ramen for the day. Can I get a little extra salt? Kill him!
We're not at that segment yet, Matt. So, what's going on today? So, if you take all the recent polls nationally, Biden's up by about 9 points. The latest Fox News poll, which just came out this morning, which covered 3 days until the 29th, has Biden up by 8 points.
Oh, you got some hot data there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at Real Clear Politics, and it said the 20th was the last of theirs. And that was only 5 points with a 3-point margin of error for Biden. And you're saying 8? 8 with a margin error of what?
Of 0. Just 1 second, let me get back to it.
Illegal. Don't count it. What the hell is this number? I don't trust it.
Alright, so 2.5 points margin of error.
Hopefully that's a big enough victory. A resounding victory. I wonder if, is it possible to have too big, I might have talked about this already, too big a margin of victory? Texas just reported that their entire vote total was already hit in early voting. Their entire vote total. That means the so-called red tide, or red wave, whatever you want to call that. It's a little Florida joke there, a little Algal Bloom joke. That's coming on election day is still yet to happen.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising. They've gone over 9 million votes in Texas already.
Intense.
Very.
I wonder if
this will be a very. What did you say?
The LeBron James bump, the celebrity bump. Every single celebrity can't afford to not say go vote right now.
Yeah, the LeBron James bump didn't really do anything last time. But it'll be interesting to see what the hell happens on election day. What kind of turnout there'll be. But yeah, just in general, the early voting has been significantly higher than before. And there's been a pretty good increase in new voters, at least since from 2016 to now. The increase has mostly been young people and minorities. There's been a little bit of an increase of white people, but the minority vote has increased from with early voting, and young people have increased. Like from 2016 to early voting now. So definitely good numbers for Biden that way. Now, kind of pulling back to 2016, and I was looking at all the polls and, how Clinton was doing around this time, a little bit before. So, yeah, pretty much a week before the election, she started, like, tanking hard. Like, her lead, like, got cut in half, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I saw the last Fox News poll for Clinton and Trump, and it was the same distance that this current, like in the amount of days that this current poll is for Fox News. The current poll has Biden winning by +8. So you know what they called in 2016?
No.
Clinton +2. The exact number that she won by from a popular vote standpoint.
Curious.
Mm.
Now we're talking. Are you talking nationally, or are you talking Pennsylvania?
Nationally. But still, like if that does hold and Biden wins 8% nationally, there's no way in hell. There's like a almost no chance that he loses such a wide margin of victory. Like you'd have to get like, I think below 4% to really have a chance to like lose electorally.
It's looking like it's going to be him, very much so. I think, didn't Trump already cancel his celebration party?
So they moved it to the White House. The reason they gave was because they were going to have it in a hotel in D.C. and they wanted a large crowd,
Of course.
And D.C. currently has a limit on how many people can be in a room at once due to COVID concerns, and they would like surpass it by a significant amount. And if they did that and got caught, which they would 100% would, the hotel would lose its liquor license, and it's a Trump hotel. So
Gotcha.
So that's the reason they gave. And sure, I mean that tracks. Maybe they don't think they're gonna win, but also if you look at the money being spent and where the two candidates are going, you can definitely surmise that Trump is more on the defense and Biden is more on the offense. Biden and Kamala Harris have been going to more states. Like Biden and Harris went to Texas. Well, Harris went to Texas. Biden went to Georgia. Why go to Georgia unless your internal polling numbers suggest that you could actually win it? Trump is pulled a lot of money out of Minnesota, Nevada, and New Hampshire, which Clinton barely lost. So they were thinking that they might be able to expand out their map, but it looks like their internal polling numbers based on the amount of money they're pulling back from those states, looks like they're not doing too good. And public polling looks like they're also not doing too good. So that's another thing in Biden's favor. His favorability is still significantly higher than Trump's. Now, and I was talking to you about this a little bit before we started the podcast. There's really only one poll that I saw that actually has Trump winning in a lot of these battleground states. And here, let me kind of pull that up. So this is done by Trafalgar Group. So nationally, like they had in 2016, they had state and national polls around the end. Nationally, they said Trump would win by 2 points. He lost by 2 nationally from a popular perspective. So he was off by 4 points in the typical polls were off by 2, having Clinton won by 4. Though it was one of the only polls that had Trump winning in the states that he won. Like the blue wall states.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's getting attention now. The only media outlet that it has gotten attention from is the Washington Post. Not the Washington Post, the Washington Times. Sorry.
Yeah. Kind of a big difference.
Kind of a big difference. So, and they're basically like the New York Post. They're very right-leaning and kind of tabloidish.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw a reference to the Washington Times article in the Jerusalem Post. That's how I found out about it. So there's no national poll yet, at least, but again, it had the state polls, and it came out this morning, so I only had time to really delve into Arizona, the state that I live in, and so first of all, so I looked at the poll. I had Trump up by like a little over 2 points in Arizona. And I looked at their data on the poll, which first red flag on them. The Fox News poll that just came out had 25 pages of documentation. This one had 10 slides of documentation. It weren't even like full pages.
Oh, okay.
So there was that. And then, so some of the information that I could glean out of those slides was the districts that they were polling from and the percentage of them. So there's 9 congressional districts in Arizona. They go between 10.08 to 11.57. The polling that they took was between 6.2 and 13.5. And so the kind of like get a snapshot here. The increases of the poll population as opposed to the Arizona population by district. The changes favored Trump, as far as districts that poll for Biden and districts that poll for Trump. So either an increase in percentage for Trump leaning districts and taken away from Biden leaning districts. That was 7 to 9 of the districts. So either taking away, so lowering the percentage for Biden districts and increasing the population for Trump districts. It's a difference of 7 and 9. And advantages were given to majority white districts in 8 out of 9 of the districts. So the 2 districts that kind of got the short end of the stick, District 3 and District 7, 8%, 6.2%, are the only districts that have Hispanic majorities in those districts. Every other district is majority white. And also, those are the first and third most Biden-leaning districts. So, safe to say, this poll is horseshit.
Yeah, sounds like it's a great example of lies, damned lies, and statistics.
Mm-hmm.
If you gerrymander the statistics to do whatever the hell you want them to do, then, hey, what do you know? Oh, by the way, Mark Twain did not come up with that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's one of those, there's all sorts of quotes that people either attribute to Mark Twain or Oscar Wilde. just because they came up with so much other stuff that they're just these vacuums and they suck in so much other power. Like, they probably came up with it. And you know what? You're probably guessing right. But that one gets to go to Sir Charles Dilke.
Okay. So, one thing I should mention, just to be fair.
You don't have to do
that. So, the population numbers I got from districts, the most recent I could find was from 2015. And so, those are 5 years old. And the earliest population numbers I could get is from 2019. So that's a difference of 4 years. There's been a 6% increase in the population of Arizona since then. So that might account for a little bit, maybe even not. Could be the other direction, but there has been a 6% increase since 2005 to 2019. But the third and seventh district of how little they represented them definitely skews things. Like even considering that growth in population.
Yeah,
and I don't.
These polls just they can't possibly be all encompassing. And most of the time, that's exactly what happens. They end up missing poor people, or they end up missing black people, or they end up missing communities that otherwise are completely disinvested from even participating.
So the more traditional polls that, are more mainstream, they go after those populations. Like, okay, we need this many black people in our study. We need, to correlate with the actual percentages and where they're polling. And one thing that they changed from 2016 to 2020 is they are putting more of an emphasis on non-college educated voters than they did.
Good idea.
Yeah. So the polling should show it should benefit Trump more because of the more of an emphasis on non-college educated voters, because he does better with them. Especially white non-educated voters. But he is, lower in the polls than he was at this time in 2016.
Let's talk about the Senate.
Okay.
I'm taking a look at the Real Clear Politics here for the... so it's basically just running down the list. It's not as in-depth as for the presidential race, but it does give you a quick snapshot of whoever the hell happens to be looking at a Senate race. Out there in Arizona, looks like that Kelly guy, Mr. Spaceman.
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a 5-point lead, according to Rasmussen.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take it.
The bigger one is the Georgia Senate special election, the open primary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, this is if there's a D in parentheses, does that mean D for don't look at this? Next to the type of poll it is? Because it has Loeffler, Miss Insider Trading, in case anybody wanted to know who the hell that is. Insider Trading before the coronavirus hit.
Mm.
She's down by 19 points. I'm going to go ahead and not delve into that poll and do the kind of deep dive you just did, because I want that to be true.
Yeah. So yeah, that poll was still bullshit.
Oh, but look at this. Auburn University did a poll in Alabama, and guess who's winning? Tommy fucking Tuberville. Yeah. By 11 points. No bias there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
In case anybody wanted a little quick history of Alabama football, Tommy Tuberville led Auburn to several years of mediocrity. And for some reason, they still appreciate that. 11-point swing. I'm just assuming that all the polls are. Some of these swings are insane. Like, holy shit. I don't know. I guess some of these are just locks. This guy in New Hampshire is really going to annihilate his competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Alabama as far as Tuberville, and he's going up against a Democrat.
True.
Doug Jones barely won against an alleged child molester.
He did that shit.
Yeah, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he wasn't, charged or convicted of it. But probably. But Tuberville has never been accused of molesting children. Thus, he will win. He's a Republican who'd never molested children equals victory in Alabama.
There you go. Okay.
What? That's
okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, sure. Okay. Oh, I wasn't up to date. Oh yeah, I just saw on YouTube last night. I got a quick clip of the Georgian guy taking on Purdue.
Yeah.
And he just a blistering attack. It was fantastic. He just point blank says, "You have voted 4 times to eliminate pre-existing conditions. 4 times. How are you going to look the Georgians in the camera right now and tell them that you actually want them to live?" I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's essentially what he just said. It was like, you straight up want to kill people, and he didn't have a good answer to that. So now they're tied. It was pretty bad. It's blistering, really.
Georgia senator does not have a good answer for, do you want to kill people?
Yeah, it was pretty awful. Even I got uncomfortable, and I didn't do anything wrong.
Wow.
Is it possible for us to get a little snippet of a YouTube clip and insert it real quick into the podcast, or no? Is that beyond your capabilities?
No, I could do it. I don't know. All right, I'll try. I want to get this out really soon, before the election.
This is true. Okay.
I'll see that.
Well, perhaps Senator Perdue would have been able to respond properly to the COVID-19 pandemic if you hadn't been fending off multiple federal investigations for insider trading. It's not just that you're a crook, Senator. It's that you're attacking the health of the people that you represent. You did say COVID-19 was no deadlier than the flu. You did say there would be no significant uptick in cases. All the while, you were looking after your own assets and your own portfolio, and you did vote 4 times to end protections for pre-existing conditions.
I'll see if there's time.
That's right.
How long it'll take.
To his face. To his face, he calls him a crook. It's fantastic. Oh my God. You said that the COVID-19 was no deadlier than the flu. Tells him straight up, you were looking after your own portfolio. Then he goes into the pre-existing conditions thing. It's intense.
Alright, so I think that's just about all I had for how the election is going. Yep.
Let's say it's going pretty well.
Yeah.
Considering.
So far. Yeah. So, Biden did go to Wisconsin, so.
Yes, I was looking at that just to make sure. Good. Finally. Ugh. I'll just cross the border a little bit to Milwaukee. Okay, fine. Technically, you're there.
So the aggregated battleground states, according to the Washington Post, Arizona is leading Biden. Michigan is heavy for Biden by 8 points. Nevada is leading Biden. North Carolina is leading Biden. Pennsylvania is pretty hard Biden for 7. Seems hard for Biden. It's hard for Biden by 9 points.
Yeah. We might want to clean that up in the post.
Super hard.
It's not going to get cleaned up.
And none of the swing states they have that Trump has from a significant lead. So Biden's leading in Florida, Georgia, Iowa by 3, 2, and 1 vote points. And Trump's leading in Ohio by 2, Texas by 3. So, yeah.
That was some fucking bullshit. Did you hear about Harris County?
No.
Harris County in Texas, they decided to do drive-through voting, call it that. And now all those votes might be discounted, or just, not even fucking counted at all. It's going to be a pretty lengthy court battle. This shit's not going to go away. So November 3rd, you really can't be banking on all this bullshit going away.
Yeah.
The thing in Pennsylvania didn't win its court case. Not that it lost its court case specifically, but the Supreme Court said state legislatures, not state courts, are allowed to do anything with elections. And the state Supreme Court of Pennsylvania is the one that extended their ballot collection by 3 days. And the Supreme Court's like, we're not going to rule on this yet. We're not going to rule on it yet. But there's a strong chance, this is Samuel Alito saying that there's a strong chance it's constitutionally not right. So they're going to wait until after the election has happened to then discount people's votes. If they fucking... like, it's looking like it's not going to go our way. Let's go ahead and just throw all these in the garbage.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to win Texas. Pennsylvania is definitely a good to have. But again, Pennsylvania, the aggregate is +7. So they would really have to, I don't even know, that there's just not enough voter suppression that they can come up with in Pennsylvania to cover anything close to that. Like maybe I don't know, 1-2%. 2 would be super high.
Well,
Let's say 1% that they can suppress.
It's not so much that's one front, right? I mean, they can always outflank us and find some other fucking loophole. Okay, they might not have the numbers. We know they don't have the numbers to ever actually get proper, I don't know, consensus. So what they'll try to do is say, okay, this vote didn't count. So, or they'll say, even just the image of the election not being accurate or being safe is enough to sway enough idiots to say, oh, damn, okay, I guess we gotta make sure this doesn't get counted. Well, fuck, man. I mean, that's what the Russians learned, is that from 2016, they didn't really screw with any actual votes. All they had to do was give the impression that they were screwing with votes, and it fucked people up in their heads. Letting the Russians live rent-free, as it were.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about it. I mean,
I'm fucking terrified. I am shaking in my boots over here.
Yeah, there's a lot. So you're number 3 You're like the third person I've talked to in 2 days that's really worried about this kind of shit.
I'm more worried about people trying some shit on election day just because I am an election judge.
I mean, there's been a huge increase in early voting, and mostly in the swing states, so it's even higher of the voters, votes that actually count.
Mm-hmm.
And once they receive them and approve it, like mine was received, it's going to get counted. It's it's out of the envelope. It's there's no way to say, oh, where did this vote come from? Like, it was already accepted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine too.
So all these votes like that you're talking about are people who are going to mail the goddamn ballot on fucking election day, and don't receive them, and it's not received earlier than 3 days. That's what that's about. And then,
well, no, it's actually they're saying that even votes that were postmarked, a postmark isn't good enough.
Yeah, it has to be postmarked and received within 3 days of the postmark of election day.
I'm
like,
pretty
it can't
sure.
Go past 3 days. They can't receive it 3 days out. How many fucking ballots is that? Like, who's the asshole who?
If it's fucking close. If it's fucking close, it'll matter.
If it's close, it has to be like within a percentage close.
And that's exactly how he fucking won. He won.
That's how,
based on
by less than 1%. True.
Low shit.
But again,
not in Pennsylvania specifically, but other places. Even in 2000, it was even closer. Do you remember 2000? I
remember 2000.
Yeah. We were fucking
I remember.
In
2000,
I had to go through as a 13-year-old.
In 2000, okay. In 2000, it was up to one county in one state, and that county was Broward County. So yes, of course, that's if you're gonna count on Broward County to save you, you're fucked.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna come down to that this time.
I don't think any county would have been ready for the firestorm that came after that bullshit. But they still, the bullshit that I'm worried about is what happened during that. They stopped the count. The Supreme Court just fucking said, stop counting. So we weren't even allowed to see what the hell actually happened.
Okay, but that can't, almost certainly can't happen this time unless you have the same type of voting. They were going by the, you had to hole punch the fucking ballot.
Right.
And so you had Republican, so you had a Democrat and a Republican look at each ballot and say whether or not this was hole punched or not, and they were really slowing it down. It's like, oh, is that hole punched enough? Because there's a whole bunch of old people who voted and just barely punched it.
Right.
And so, as opposed to the ballots now, where it's just like it's basically just fill in the fucking bubble. Okay,
right.
Well, here's the bubble that's filled in. No other bubbles are filled in. What do you get to fucking argue about? You can't slow it down the same way as you did that way.
True.
Also, the way it was oriented, a whole bunch of people voted for. Who the fuck was the big third party?
I think it was Pat Buchanan.
Yeah, Pat Buchanan. Well, a huge amount of Pat Buchanan votes from Florida because it looked like, because it was oriented where it kind of looked like hitting the Pat Buchanan hole punch would be a vote for Al Gore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know of anyone who does the hole punching anymore, like, for that reason. Since then, all I've seen is fill in the bubble. That's when I was voting in Florida in 2016, when I was voting here, 2020, it was the same kind of form. It was just filling the bubble. Easy.
Well, that's nice. What sucks is that the Brooks Brothers riot kind of shit, which was nothing but actually paid Republican operatives to just go and hassle people who have to do any kind of counting. Yeah, you're laughing about it now. That shit worked. And Roger Stone actually fucking organized it. And who got a fucking bailout out of prison?
Roger Stone.
That guy. It was Roger Stone. Yeah, it was Roger Stone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's Trump has to win like all these states that are in play, basically. So not only does he have to, I'm just not seeing there being like a huge thing.
I hope not.
Like there wasn't. I don't think there's going to be. But a lot of people are freaked out about it. But all right, I think I'm good with where we're at now. I'm gonna start talking the future.
The year 2000.
The year 2000. The year 2020. All right, so let's let's go most apocalyptic version first. What happens if it's really close and it's kind of like in 2000 where there's like just one or two states / counties that have to count the votes and it's really, really close, like in the thousands close.
Dude, Florida was down to hundreds.
Sure, yeah, or hundreds, whatever.
It's insane. Sorry, what was the question?
So, what happens?
I was too busy stockpiling rice.
What happens if we have that kind of close election?
Oh man! If you thought voter intimidation, if you thought voter intimidation was bad beforehand, it's gonna be fucking worse. They're gonna fucking go to wherever it's gonna be a hotspot of wherever it is that they're doing the actual counting, and they're gonna fuck it up, and they're gonna intentionally fuck it up, because this administration has shown time and time again that they do not want a fair fight.
No.
Anytime that there's a loophole that they can exploit, they're gonna do it. So that's what's gonna happen if it's tight and they have and the thing is on the line. He's got bills to pay, man, and he's gotta have this job to pay it. And the 2013 repeal of the Voting Rights Act didn't fucking help out. So.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an antiquated law. This is an antiquated law. Thanks, John. John Roberts, you fuck.
All right. So say it's close. Let's say it's close, but not too much fuckery goes around, and Trump wins.
Then the environment's not going to get much better. That's for fucking sure. You're going to see, if you thought that this was extreme the last 4 years, he's not up for a re-election. That means he doesn't care what anybody even thinks anymore. So what little he was able to be reined in by Fox News or whatever, it won't even matter anymore. He can do whatever the hell he wants, even more so. And now he just passed a directive saying that he wants to be able to fire apolitical employees of the federal government much easier. That just dropped that story. Apolitical employees. Now it's probably not going to pass. It's probably not going to be able to withstand any kind of pressure. But that's terrifying. The fact that he can now he can't just purge top level people. Now he can purge all the way down and make every single agency an agency of stooges. I mean, climate scientists shouldn't have a political opinion. And if they do, they should keep it to themselves.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you say he's not up for re-election yet. What would it take to repeal that? Would he need both houses of Congress or just the Senate?
To repeal a constitutional amendment requires the entirety of the country, I believe. I mean, it has to go state by state, and it's like having the election all over again, and it's not like having. It's not like the Electoral College, where one state is worth more than another. Every state's going to have an equal say in that fight.
But from what perspective? Is it from the Senate?
Let's see. I have to do some research on that fantastic question of how to repeal. I'd have to go back to how they repealed the Volstead Act. That would be the 19th. Pardon my typing. I mean, what you're talking about is open war. At that point, it's kind of like I think we're past the hunger strike. But it's now time to play Hunger Games.
I'm just saying, if there's any kind of way he can do it, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried.
There's everything is on the table. There's nothing that they won't try. All sense of decorum and honor is out the window because these words don't mean anything to nihilists. They believe in nothing, but they are nihilists.
That must be exhausting for him.
Not really. He's all hopped up on Benzedrine and fucking Adderall, shitting his pants daily. I was listening to Noel Casler. You ever hear of Noel Casler? Noel Casler is a celebrity handler, specifically for Celebrity Apprentice. And man, does he just rip into the Trump entourage. You know, it was nicknamed the shit show because of how often they had to replace his Depends. And apparently he's severely dyslexic. I didn't know that. So he would constantly get pissed off whenever he had to read a 3-syllable word.
It's probably why you get sentences from him. I have the best words.
Yeah, exactly. The dude's lexicon is very small because tiny hands. And also he can't read the shit. So he just stays away from it. Okay, so basically repealing a previous amendment requires a new amendment that just has a repeal provision inside of it.
Okay.
So it's the same as passing an amendment, essentially. That's why we have so many. It's like you got the 18th, the banning of liquor, then you got the 19th, which is, well, that was the right to vote. It took a few votes. Then you got the 21st.
How do you pass an amendment?
How do you pass an amendment? Let's see here. The states approve it. So you get to 36 states and you're good to go.
The state, what, like in the Senate?
No. The state itself says this is okay.
But who in the state? The governor of the state? The state legislature?
It just says ratified by the states. I don't fucking know.
I mean,
I wasn't ready for this question, goddammit. I would have done research on it. I think somebody who's actually... it starts with a grassroots effort, usually.
Sure, but... Well, shit, like, say it is the governor, which, I don't know, it could be. if you have a majority of Republican governors and you have a majority Senate, what's to say they can't change the law to make it easier to pass an amendment? It's like you only need a simple majority, and then you get the simple majority from the governors, and boom shakalaka, you got Trump forever.
If you have 3/4 of the states, he's not that popular. He got in barely.
That's the thing. Can the Senate just, can Congress just pass a law that decreases the amount you have to win by to pass an amendment? Let's just say, okay, now it's simple majority.
Potentially. That's what Harry Reid had to do back in, was it 2011 or 2012 when Obama was getting stonewalled by every single Republican, and then Harry Reid is like, well, fuck, we're not getting anything done. So he called it the nuclear option back then. The nuclear option. Yeah. How quaint. And it only opened up the fucking floodgates of what they were able to get accomplished. So as opposed to a supermajority, which is what you used to have for a federal judge, you went to a simple majority, and now suddenly, oh man, I was able to get all these judges passed. Yeah, you can thank Harry Reid for that.
Yeah, until they lost the majority of the Senate.
Oops. Guess what's gonna happen, guys?
Yeah. And then the Con's like, well, it's not just federal judges now. All political appointments and the Supreme Court is now simple majority. So suck my turtle balls.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, McConnell. Nice job.
Thank you.
Been working on that?
No, first time.
Oh wow, it's terrifying. I tried looking up parts of his debate, but all I can find are clips that kind of just make fun of his weird, creepy laugh during the debate that he did.
Yeah,
and it's just a big one. That's like, okay, nobody actually sounds like that, even monsters.
So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it just that's the theme of if Trump wins is I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the future is so up in the air. Anything terrible that you can think of, just assume he's gonna try and fucking do it. If he doesn't like it, it's not. He's gonna try and rule by edict as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think he doesn't give a shit about the rules now, what happens when he has nothing to lose?
I mean, look at what he said at Davos, at the conference of the Illuminati. I mean, of the I didn't call them that, if they're listening. The super rich, the ultra, the people that own the owners. He basically said, hey, you know what, you're going to have to put up with everything I say and all the crazy shit I do because I'm making you a fuck ton of money. And that, you know what, standing ovation for everything he said. Even though they hate him, they despise him, really. Because the whole point of the Davos conference is to show that billionaires are humans too. And, yeah, they have to give this guy a rousing ovation.
I like money.
I like beer.
And beer. Yeah, so that's basically the answer. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen if Trump wins again? He'll probably at least have one more Supreme Court justice pick. I could definitely see Clarence Thomas saying, fuck it, I'm done.
What? He's not going to give up power.
Clarence Thomas?
No, he's going to hang on to it until he's dead.
Like I don't think it'll be like immediate, but and also he might die. He's now currently the oldest person on the Supreme Court and the longest serving justice.
How old is he? And he has been on for, what was that, that was 1991?
Oh, did you see the SNL skit for the Clarence Thomas
No.
Senate? The Senate committee interviewing Clarence Thomas. It had like the main person in it was Doug. What's his face? I think his name's Doug. Anyway, has Chris Farley in it. It's like it's one of the older ones, but it's basically they're asking Clarence Thomas like a whole bunch of porno questions, and then like every time he answers, like they all like just like kind of look around at each other and start like whispering. It's pretty good.
Oh god.
Okay, Clarence Thomas is 72 years old.
Yeah, sure, maybe. He might die.
Maybe. He could.
Anything's possible. Cross your fingers.
Well. But, though maybe not, because he does I think he takes care of himself by moving as little as possible.
Yeah, sounds about right.
He pretty much just puts his vote in. What's the conservative stance? Okay, yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Done.
Good to go.
Well, going home. Later, jerks. Have fun being jerks and nerds.
That's about right. Were we going to talk about what happens if Joe wins and somehow goes around planting apple trees or something? I'm not sure what he's going to do when he's president either.
But he's Joe Biden?
Yeah. Is he going to go around picking blueberries?
I hope so. It's like, all right, let me just pick out my cabinet. You call me if there's any emergency. I'm going to pick blueberries with my grandchildren.
That sounds fantastic.
That would be actually fantastic.
Yeah.
If they just did that. Let me know when you need something signed. Besides that, don't fucking bother me.
Kamala, you got this?
Don't fuck up.
Even if you do, I'll blame you.
This is your 4-year-long interview, 4 to 8 year long interview for the presidency.
Yeah, I guess. Like, all right, whatever. Not exactly the president I wanted, but she's well spoken enough. Seems intelligent. She'll actually do the job.
Yeah. I mean, it's like after, like if Biden wins and after, he's done, you would assume Kamala Harris would be one of the front runners in the next Democratic primary, whenever that is.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
She is going to be an entity from now until forever.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me. She's not the devil incarnate with, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, she's fine. She was my second pick, like, during the Democratic primary. So, yeah, fine with me. But yeah, I guess if Biden does win, then you can stop listening to the news every day. You can just like pop in like once a week. Like, oh, what's happening? Nothing? Great.
Steady as she goes.
Yeah.
Fuck that, man. You gotta keep these assholes, you gotta hold their feet to the fire. Before it was just hold on and see if you can hang on. Now it's our voice can actually be heard and the change can actually happen.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't let your foot off the gas in that perspective, but just like all right, now what fucking happened? You know, like day to day. You know, because Joe Biden's not going to be on Twitter or whatever. Like, you know, they'll have their plan statements. Yeah, you're not going to have, like, you know, like, especially like in Trump's first few years in office, where he's just like, all right,
missiles.
Let's, yeah, missiles, Muslim ban.
Yeah, really. Let's go ahead and just undo every fucking thing.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be much more chill if Biden becomes president. And yeah, he might. We'll see if he can bring about the bipartisanship, get some good legislation passed. You know, especially in terms of halting climate change.
I don't want to meet them halfway on anything. They need to fucking come over to this side. This is this last 4 years is total fucking horseshit. I'm fucking tired of these Democrats pussyfooting around and acting like the Republicans are somehow equal in their viewpoint. They're not. Meeting them halfway on some of this shit is like, I'm fucking tired of it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, as far as climate change goes, yeah, maybe. But what I think is, if the more bipartisan support you get for legislation, the more likely it's going to stay in place when you're not in power.
Fair enough.
You know, if everyone shares in, like, you know, the victory lap, then you know, there's less of a reason for them to repeal it later.
But some of the ideas, it's all about the idea. Is the idea good? If the idea is good, it will naturally be gravitated to. So they need to come up with a good idea and then make them fucking come to the table and get that good idea across. Pre-existing conditions was clearly the best idea that came out of the Obamacare administration.
Yeah.
And everybody is on board with that. Even Trump is on board with that because they tried fighting it. They tried fighting what was a good idea, and even their own constituents said, that's keeping me alive right now.
Yeah. Well, he's
so
saying
rights.
that he's for
it's all about rights.
While trying to destroy it.
Yeah, exactly. He says but he at least has to pay the lip service and say he is for it. But that's just, it's just a trick.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to get it thrown out in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, with no alternative.
Zero fucking clue.
Repeal replace my fucking ass.
Yep. But, yeah. So you can expect legislation on climate, to prevent climate change.
It better be.
Probably have a
fucking do.
Yeah. But probably what they'll focus on first is COVID-19 pandemic. Probably institutes, mask mandate.
Information sharing.
Get more testing, more information. Actual federal plans on how to implement, kids going to school, restaurants opening up, having actual federal mandates as opposed to not doing that.
Actual stimulus negotiations, not hinged on a fucking election.
Yeah, so that's probably number one. Number two would probably be either revamping healthcare and or the climate legislation, and then keep going in that fashion.
Yeah, I hope so. The National Highway Transportation Administration predicts that in 80 years, by the end of the century, temperatures are going to be 7 degrees Fahrenheit higher. 7. Trees did not evolve over millions of years for rapid change in climate.
Yeah.
That's the National Highway Transportation Administration saying that. And their conclusion after this data analysis, their conclusion from that is we're going to roll back emissions standards.
Burn it all down.
Yeah, why are we wasting time? Why are we still here? You know, let's just burn this up real good and hard and get to the afterscape.
But also another thing, I mentioned that rebuilding the infrastructure of the country, which Trump did not do. He said he was going to do it, but didn't get around to it.
That's not as important as building fake walls and separating children from their mothers.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of weird because that would give people a lot more jobs. But I mean, it's a huge undertaking that has to go on.
Of course.
And yeah, I think that would really stimulate the economy.
Yeah, it could have fucking.
Maybe that's how we help to get out of this slump that we're in. You know?
Yeah, they had the same idea back 10 years ago for the recession, and you know what Obama did was actually put money towards it.
Yeah.
A nice transportation-oriented development plan of some kind on a national scale would be amazing. Mm-hmm. Rather than just, I think we need a new lane over here. Oh, seems to be more traffic. Oh, seems to be more people. Add another lane. Seems to be more traffic. Oh, seems to be more people. Add another lane. That's basically what transportation development and planning has been for the last, I don't know. Let's say too long.
Especially in Atlanta.
Add another lane. Add another lane. Add another lane.
12 lanes later.
Oh my god.
Man, why do they still suck?
Have you guys thought about like a train or bikes? You thought about bikes? I'm just throwing ideas. I'm just spitballing here. It's just a brainstorming session.
So yeah, I think a lot more certainty of what will happen if Biden's president as opposed to Trump. Trump's like, what's in the black fucking hole of what the hell's gonna happen?
Maybe I'll fix something. No, you won't.
Nah.
Because he is a destroyer of worlds.
My first act in my second term is to annex Canada and start chopping down their trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When's he going to start looking elsewhere for solutions? Getting a little expansive.
I mean, yeah, like he's opening up a lot of stuff for mining.
Yep.
There's that pebble mine out in Alaska that he's opening up.
Right.
That's another thing. A big difference between Trump and Biden. I think Biden will almost certainly shut that down before any work gets started on it.
It has to. There has to be something.
Yeah.
There has to be a comprehensive idea and a massive reckoning. Because this shit is hitting the fan currently, and it will only get worse. Got to do something.
Yep.
Before we're making even worse decisions. They're not going to be decisions in the future. They're just going to be what you have to do. And when people don't really like being told what to do. So, you want to talk about where the real wars are going to start? It's already brewing. Oh, they've got water and we don't? Yeah, it's funny now. We'll check back in 30 years, see if these comments age well.
Yep. Alright. So I think we're good.
Yeah.
Try to get this either posted up today, which is Saturday, or tomorrow, Sunday, so people can actually listen to it. So I looked at the analytics a few days ago.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently we got a couple people from Russia listening, one from Switzerland, one from some small island off the coast of Africa where the dodos used to live.
What up, Dodo listeners? Love it.
I kind of think it's probably all Russians, and 2 of them are just spoofing their IP address.
Okay. That's pretty funny.
So
they just typed it. They're scanning. Wow, they are really reaching.
Yeah.
If they found us. Hey, are these guys
Russian
influencers?
intelligence.
We could be. We accept all sorts of donations from all sorts of seedy, dirty, dirty mobsters. I mean Russian politicians.
So, but in case you're not Russian government agents, hello.
Oh yeah.
Thanks
hey,
for listening.
What up? Hey, how's it going? How's Alexei doing? Is he doing all right? Navalny? No.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
I'm sick. Well, what's the problem, Alexei? I'm poisoned. Shit.
No, you're not. You it's just food poisoning.
Right. Poison. I don't have time to explain. I'm dying.
Yeah. Well, he's talking again. He's at least able to sit up.
Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Get some fucking some rubles out of this goddamn podcast. That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe. And one of our YouTube videos got 179 views.
Holy shit.
Average viewing time of 6 minutes. That was one of the ones where I put in the description, puppies, kittens, and TikTok.
Yes! Yeah. All right, we tricked some people. I love it. You need to do more of that.
Yeah.
Puppies, kittens, and TikTok. People listen for 6 minutes before they're like, what the fuck? Some guy droning on about statistics in Arizona. What the fuck is this? He said, I was promised puppies, kittens, and TikTok. I don't think we've talked about TikTok a single time. Oh, shit.
No.
That is some funny shit. Okay. That's good. That's one way of getting listeners. Just straight up line.
Yeah. Yep. So you can email us in at hopesomething6@gmail.com.
We're going to have Selena Powell on next week.
Yep. Whatever the hell that is. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll have our next podcast after the election, and we'll see where the world is, or at least the country is.
As goes America. What's good for America is good for the world. Play some Philip Sousa. I want some fucking trombone. I need some more tuba in my life.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Laters.